Trump's tariffs cover a lot of ground, but one aspect that gets a great deal of focus is auto tariffs. So I'm going to take this opportunity to talk a bit about cars. Obviously, the Western world, but particularly the US and Canada, has had a century-long love affair with the car, to such a degree that as environmental concerns have become especially pressing in more recent years, some of the most vocal defenders of the environment have proposed solutions involving investing billions of dollars trying to establish domestic battery manufacturing industries and things like that. What has been mostly lost in this approach is the hard conversation about cars themselves being the problem. Now, there are many good reasons why personal vehicles will continue to exist, especially in rural areas, but it astounds me to see so many medium and large cities all across Canada and the United States mostly drop the ball on public transit. As one example, in my hometown of Halifax, the Premier in Nova Scotia just got rid of tolls on our two major bridges, sacrificing the government revenue to maintain those bridges so that cars can cross more easily. Meanwhile, the public transit pedestrian ferries that cross our harbors every day are regularly cancelled because of a lack of investment from the government, so people can't rely on them and traffic gets worse and worse. In urban settings, the losses aren't just environmental. Ever-increasing car traffic means more congestion, which means more wasted time, which means lost economic opportunity. In 2024, Toronto topped the list of the most congested cities in North America and was the third worst in the entire world. According to one study, it takes Toronto commuters an average of 29 minutes just to complete a 10-kilometer or 6.2-mile trip, and that's almost a minute worse than it was just the year before. In fact, Torontonians lost an average of 98 hours in 2023 due to rush hour traffic. If we're looking at a standard 40-hour-per-week job, that's like working an extra 2.5 weeks every year. Think of what that means in terms of the economic impact in a city of over 3 million people. So what else can we do to deal with this? Well, people might complain about bike lanes and the like making traffic worse than ever, but I think there's something more insidious than that contributing to slower traffic, namely the widespread use of smartphones by drivers. I mean, walk down the street and look at traffic, look at the cars. You'll no doubt see people on their phones, at best leading to long pauses before they rejoin the flow of traffic, and at worst, creating accidents that grind traffic to a halt. What you almost certainly won't see is anyone being ticketed for being on their phone, and so now we've got a generation of people who think it's okay not to be looking at the road while they drive. It's pretty clear that the police don't want to do that job, so politicians either need to force them to, or create some other means to punish people who break the law in dangerous ways every single time they get into a car. Unfortunately, for those who try to do the right thing by taking public transit in big cities like Toronto, instead of seeing drivers' heads buried in their phones, they'll get to enjoy people smoking crack on the bus because of similar lack of governmental accountability. So, as our cities drown in personal vehicle traffic, making sure more of those cars are electric instead of fossil fuel powered is avoiding a core reality that big cities should not have to accommodate so much of their population wanting to drive around in their own cars to go to work every day. Moves like this could even help the housing problem by freeing up the massive amounts of space that car parking takes up in cities. So here are 3 things I think need to be done. 1, politicians need to get serious about investing in public transit. It's the most sensible place to invest in electric vehicles, and it can be the most effective solution to traffic congestion while also helping the environment, freeing up housing space, and positively impacting the economy. 2, we also need to insist that police forces invest an appropriate amount of time enforcing cell phone use while driving laws. And at the same time, how about ticketing anyone who blocks an intersection while you're at it? These things matter, and if politicians can't make cops do that, then they need to create some separate municipal enforcement unit that they could fund entirely from all the tickets you'd be able to write during every single rush hour in almost any city. And finally, driving isn't a right, it's a privilege. The only reason we can't more easily revoke licenses from people who don't deserve them, at least in cities, is because politicians have come up so reliably short on providing the public transit alternative that every decent-sized city should have. In conclusion, as we face an increasingly unpredictable world, let's take the opportunity to do some hard things right. So make sure you let your elected representatives know how you feel. I'm the Other Mac,